Hi everyone, apologize for the late. I'm like 1 or 2 minutes late. And I'm just going to check if I am audible and live on LinkedIn and YouTube. Let me know how are you feeling. Whether you are live or on the replay, how are you feeling? And I was not doing the session yesterday because yesterday was really full and today was full also. But I'm really blessed to take 25 minutes to dive into my community. So I am checking and bringing my voice. I am happy. Today we are Thursday. Thursday in French is jeudi. And je dis que c'est une belle journée. So I say that it's a beautiful day. So you know that jeudi, jeudi, the sound is quite similar, but it's not the same spelling and not the same meaning. Same with English. English is full of words that are pronounced the same, but are not written the same or meaning the same. So right now I'm just going to check on LinkedIn. Okay. Let me check because LinkedIn is amazing and YouTube is amazing, but I'm wondering if I'm live on YouTube. Yes, I am live and audible on YouTube. Let me know how are you feeling. And I am live in LinkedIn. So dropping some French nuggets. So jeudi, jeudi. I say Thursday. So same sound, probably a nuance, but not the same signification. So what could I say for today? Well, I don't know if I had a theme for the title. Yeah, become a WORRDior, exactly. So that means paying attention about the words. I was on a session this morning that was a mentoring session, and I'm really blessed about that. And I make always mistakes. I am a human being, and I'm happy that others are making mistakes, or maybe are not aware, because I am not aware sometimes. And I recall a few years ago, I was using an expression, and one of my best friends told me, please stop using this expression. The expression was when I was seeing her tempted about some food to eat, like dessert, tiramisu, whatever. I was saying, you are true to not select that. Don't be tempted by the devil. There are some expressions that are using evil, devil, death, whatever. And we are to be aware that whatever we call, even if we say in the negative, could go to us, even if it's what we don't want. Like the same, like when you are going to a path that is really with void, in a bridge with dozens of meters of the void, and you say to someone, don't look below, don't look at the void, or don't think about the pink elephant. What you are thinking about? You are thinking about the pink elephant and l'éléphant rose, even if it's not. So the brain doesn't know the no, The brain doesn't know, I want to avoid, the brain will remember, So it's better to use the proper words. One thing that I was noticing, and I'm not going to talk about that, although the person was probably not aware, but it's not only about the words, but also about the practice. Like it, let me tell you, the session this morning was amazing, amazing gathering between mentors and mentees. Was a great session. At some point was some game, and the person was saying, if you agree, stand up, and if you don't agree, stay sit. And at some point it was like so obvious that I have to wait to stand up. But what if I was in a wheelchair? So I don't want to blame, but at the same time there is another way to express if we are agreeing. Like, but at some point I would say also, hey, what if the person doesn't have any harm? Raise your hand. If da 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 da. But it's really, at some point there are some practice that are still perpetuated, that are from the 20th century, and that might seem innocent, but they are not so much inclusive. And maybe I don't want to stand up. And if I don't stand up, and there are like a question so obvious that 95% of the person will stand up, am I going to be rejected or challenged just because I decide to not stand up? Or there was not 36 questions, but imagine there are 36 questions, and I have to stand up, I have to stand up, I have to stand up, and then to sit back, stand up, sit back. At some point I will be tired and I will not stand up, and well, I'm happy there was not 36 questions, but we have to be aware about our words. So this is a conversation. I could teach you something, but I don't have any person asking me any question. That's why I'm placing points. Feel free to ask me questions, even if you are watching the replay of yesterday, 2 days ago, or at the beginning on the 1st of June. Feel free to ask any question, even on the replay. Then I can come back and say, hey, by the way, there was a question from XYZ, and here is the reply. That's what I call LAMA, not the cousin of the dromedary, but literally ask me anything. Because I'm here to serve, I'm here to reply, answer to any question. So the power of words. And at some point in few days, I will talk also about something that has to be said. There are things that we say we shouldn't talk about that in LinkedIn. This, my friend, is an attitude that is really destructive, because what is not taught is kept in our body. And we have to talk about we have to talk about non-binariness. We have to talk about religion, about the war in Palestine. We have to talk about what's happening with Trump and his destructive stuff. We have to talk about anything. And if I disagree, I will not partake into the comment, or I will allow to express. How many times I was saying something that was, in a sense, I don't disagree, but da 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 da. And the person was replying me with lots of fire, with napalm and whatever, and say, in that case, I'm going to silence myself. If there is no conversation, there is a word that contains a part of the people that are silenced and that are in silence because they don't want to be in conflict because of disagreement, but they are in silence. They are not expressing, and then their body is taking on, or they are acting passive aggressive. And the rest of the other people will be the sheeps that says yes, 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 yes. So we, and we, by the way, is really interesting because we means yes in French, and non means no. But we, O-U-I, there is also the O-U-I with a tremor and the O-U-I-E as a noun. So we is a noun that that says the sense, the audition, l'audition, l'ouïe. And when usually I say, by instance, I can also, when you take the phone, you can say, I don't know, in English, I think they are saying hello, but I'm not sure. In Dutch, I'm not sure neither. I think in Dutch it's also hello, I think. In German also. In Italian, it's like pronto. Pronto in Italian, for when you are replying to the phone, means also ready. Pronto, ready. So I'm ready to listen. And when you open the phone, you can say hello, but you can say also we. And we, in that context, is okay, I listen. Because it's from the audition. OWI is yes. OWI with tremor is a past participle of the verb weir. OWIR, verb that means to listen. It's an old verb. And then there is Louis or we. Louis is with the article, L apostrophe, and it is the audition, the sense of the audition. And so I rather prefer that people are disagreeing with me, and that I am able to disagree with someone respectfully, rather than to be the sheep or to be the silence guy that says I'm not going to be able to disagree, so I silence. Because there is also an expression in French, qui ne dit mot consent. And I'm going to write it in the captions so that I am able to show you. Qui ne dit mot consent. And consent, C-O-N-S-E-N-T, it's consent. Consentir, it's the verb. To consent, consentir. So this expression, qui ne dit mot consent, who doesn't say a word, consent. And it might be true, it might be not true, because maybe the person was not receiving the information or processing the information to the brain. And if someone is asking me a question, and then I'm hearing something like, I don't understand the question. And if I don't reply, it doesn't mean that I am ignoring the person. I will say, I'm sorry, I don't understand you, please continue. Or maybe I was even not like silent. Not the person was expressing, but I was not thinking the person was talking to me. So, qui ne dit mot consent means who doesn't say word is consent. And that's something that is really important. I am in favor to critical thinking. I am in favor of places where we are able to speak, even if there is something that you might disagree. And there was a game. I'm not going to do details in this game because we are already on the 15 minutes of the session and we have still, let's say, 15 minutes. I'm going to be luxurious today. Instead of 25, I'm going to be 30 or 35 minutes. And in this game, there was an activity that was quite controversial. And I'm not going through the details because it's not the point of to share the details. But half of the crowd was saying, okay, I'm doing it. I'm doing this act. I'm preparing and I will do the act of this activity. And other person were sitting in silence and said, no, I'm not going to do that. But you see in the room, people standing up, ready to do the activity. And people standing and say, no, I'm not going to do this activity. And by the way, I was in the camp of people at that time. It was 8 years ago. At that time, I was in the camp of people doing this activity, even if it was controversial. Because in my way, it was like, oh, this is what the universe is willing me to do. Because that, and at the end, it was untrue. Like the person that were ready to be doing the activity was were in doing the wrong thing. But this is not the point. But in that case, there were people that were doing that activity and people that were not doing that. And the people were not doing that were silent. And I will always remember at some point was one person in the room, one person in the room of 200, 300, 400 people. One person in the room at some point screaming, "Don't do that! What are you doing? Are you crazy?" Literally shouting like that. And this is what the world needs. The world needs WORRDiors. The world needs people that are alerting. We call probably the whistleblowers. And we need to protect these persons. And although this session is about French and languages, I'm really convinced that it's really important to talk about that also. To talk about the quote of Niemöller quote. And I'm going to say it in English and in French. Hope that I can find it easily in English and in French. So, Martin Niemöller. Maybe most of you know the quote, but I'm going to quote it in English. And let me know in the live on the replay what are your thoughts. And I'm going to translate it in French. First came for the socialist. And I didn't speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came from the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I was not Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. That was it's important, even if you are not disabled, even if you are not trans or LGBTQ gay, even if you are not autistic or neurodivergent, that you are supporting each human being. It's even not about doing something. The right to be, to make a choice for themselves. And so the quote in French is Premièrement, ils sont venus pour les communistes et je n'ai rien dit parce que je ne suis pas communiste. Ensuite, ils sont venus pour les syndicalistes et je n'ai rien dit parce que je ne suis pas syndicaliste. Puis, ils sont venus pour les juifs et je n'ai rien dit parce que je ne suis pas juif. Enfin, ils sont venus pour moi, et il n'y avait plus personne pour parler en ma faveur. I would say more to defend myself. Pour me défendre. So that's a quote that is really important. Let me know in the live on the replay. And then I'm going to last this session. Sorry for the noise because I'm having a bit of flu. Because I don't have any question on the chat, I'm going to talk about something that is really interesting. And I'm going to develop that tomorrow. And if I have questions, I will go for the questions. Let me know. Be engaging, please. I'm happy to serve you. It's an invitation, of course, but it's really great when I have someone that is listening and that is asking questions or that are telling me about what I said. And the last 15 minutes, I will talk about the verbs that are also the words. And tomorrow I can introduce you to the, probably not the full list because I'm not sure. I can ask Claude, Brave AI for that. But like the first 6 letters from A to F. So A, avoir. Avoir, to have. There is also the noun. Un avoir, des avoir. It's possessions. Then, for the verb be, well, by heart I don't know. In fact, I'm going to do the alphabet because it requires too much time. I have already few words like dire, D-I-R-E, to say something. And usually it's in the plural. Les dire, des dire. It's really rare that it's un dire, but it's more in the plural. And it's a noun that is, of course, about the verb. That's like what the person was saying, like the speaking. Like, je ne crois pas, c'est dire. I don't believe his sayings. So that's from the verb dire, to speak. But it's also a noun. Then there is also, of course, être, to be. There is avoir, to have, and possessions. Être, it's a being. Human being. Être humain. Un être humain, des êtres humains. L'être humain. And that's a being. Then there is manger. That's a verb that means eat. And le manger, that means the dish, the food, you know? And that makes sense. And then there is also savoir, to know. Un savoir, des savoirs, le savoir, it's information. And in that case, there will also the words that are composed, like the know, the soft skill and the hard skill, by instance. All these kind of things. Savoir-faire, literally know, do. It's about the skills of what the person can do. Savoir-faire, to know how to do. Un savoir-faire, des savoir-faire, le savoir-faire. That's a composed noun. Then le savoir-être, know, be, how the person behaves, how the person is acting. Savoir-être, des savoir-être, le savoir-être. Then there is also verbs and noun, like un faire part, do notice. It's like faire part de décès, like when you are announcing the death of someone. faire part. Yeah, so there are also nouns that are composed and that are from verbs. Verbs and verbs, or verbs and nouns. And savoir, avoir, être, manger. Vivre, to live. Je veux vivre, I want to live. And vivre, and also most of the time it's in the plural, it's the food. Something to eat. It's really amazing because it means the things that allows you to live. De vivre. J'ai assez de vivre in the plural. It means that I have enough to sustain myself, to live. So that's really interesting. What could I say about the verbs that are also the nouns? Well, I don't see right now. Ah, yeah. Something interesting. Lever. That means to elevate. But to rise. To rise above the head, or And it's also a noun because there is le lever. Le lever du jour, the rise of the day, le lever du soleil. And yeah, and in that case, the opposite, the antonym, coucher. Like le coucher du soleil. Coucher is also the verb like to sleep, to put down. And le coucher du soleil, le coucher du jour. And then there are also verbs like savoir-faire is a verb with infinitive. Savoir-être. Faire part, verb, plus the noun. But there is also a verb conjunct, like monte charge, an equipment that allows you to elevate objects, like when you are moving, like you are on the third floor and there is a sofa that is too large or something that is too heavy. You are using something to put down or to put up, and it's like monte charge. It's like a wave lifter, lift. So, and last but not least, I would say also that we are using a lot of English words in French. I think even in Canada, although Canada is renowned to use translation in French instead of English, even with the movies, they are translating automatically the titles of the movies in English in French, from English in French. But we are using also some English terms in French: business, manager, leader, and lift, ascenseur. So there are, of course, synonyms. But at the same point, it's kind of complex to find, to always apply a synonym for a word that is so much used in English and that is a bit like weird to use in French. For instance, there is podcast. What I'm doing now, of course, it's a streaming also, because I could say bienvenue dans mon streaming, bienvenue dans mon podcast. And streaming is when you are airing live, like what now. But this is also a podcast, because the podcast could be live, the podcast could be watched in the replay. So if my streaming was like on Zoom and that was not recorded, this is a streaming live, and then the session is over. This is not a podcast, because then the session is over. But it's really interesting, the word that we are using in English. So in French, podcast would say balado diffusion, because at some point it's also the kind of way that people are listening when they are walking. So balader, balade. And balade is not only promenade, which is to walk, But ballade is also a tune, a song. So the noun, the words could have also other meanings. And the word could have same pronunciation and different spelling and different meanings. I'm going to leave you with that. Vert. Vert. I repeat, vert. And when I say that, you don't know what I'm talking about. We need context for you to know what I'm talking about. Like, if I say to you, vert, what do you say? I don't understand. Or you maybe assume about something that you know and you understand. But vert, and then there is the spelling that might indicate you something. But then, even with the spelling, if there is no context, you will not understand because there are also different meanings, even with the same spelling. Of course, with the same pronunciation, ver, it could be spelled V-E-R, V-E-R-S, V-E-R-S, no, V-E-R-T, of course, the plural, V-E-R-T-S, could be also V-E-R-R-E or V-E-R-R-E-S. Could be also V-A-I-R, it's not so much used, but, and V-A-R, V-A-R-S. No, sorry, V-E-R, V-E-R-S. So I'm going to write it because if we don't see, so there is ver, 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 ver. I think yeah. So here is the spelling, and I'm going to voice it. Ver, 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 ver. Same pronunciation, not the same spelling. Notice, for instance, the second word, V-E-R-S. Same spelling, two different meanings. Because ver could be the plural of worm, un ver, de terre, earthworm. Could be also the poems, like des vers, in the poetry, verses. Could be also the direction. And in that case, it's not a noun, it's a direction. Vers Paris, vers 15 heures, approximately at X time, or towards this direction. Regarde vers le haut. Look up. Look up. Regarde vers le haut. So vers. The first one could be the worm or the poetry as the second one. But the second one is also adding the direction. The third one is a glass. And in that case, I was also adding the plural of V-E-R-R-E-S, like glasses. Could be also the glasses, the drink. Could be the window, the material of the window. Could be also the glasses for your eyes, or the sunglasses. So really interesting. And then the fourth one is the color, green, vert. And of course the vert plural. And the last one is really rare, but it's like the slippers from Cinderella. It's a kind of a specific material. So just to say that French is fascinating. Don't say it. You can say it, of course. It's difficult, but instead of saying difficult, you can say also, "Oh, this is amazing. Let me explore more. Do I want to explore? Do I want to stretch my brain?" So that's very interesting, because if I have to pronounce B-R-A-I-N, brain, in the French way, it will be brin. Because A-I-N, like pain, pain, brain, brin, pain, 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 P-A-I-N, like, I have pain. J'ai du pain, I have bread. So Like sometimes you see these amazing memes pictures like um, I don't like pain, I prefer pain au chocolat, like choco bread. So it's like the same brun, Brain, is a word that doesn't exist in French, but the sound brun is brown, but in that case it's BRUN, because un is one, brun is brown, un. So it's really interesting about French. How are you feeling after this session? What are your thoughts? Thank you so much for being brave to watch the replay until the end. If you are watching to the replay in the end, we never know who is listening to my sessions. Well, we will never know if you are not commenting, if you are not giving me feedback. I wanna be building engagers. I wanna be being surrounded by engagers, by critical thinkers, not by yesers, not by followers. I don't want followers. I want interactors. I want connectors. What are your thoughts? So, last but not least, the last thing I'm going to throw away, to blossom away, is the power of words. And there is most of the time the sound is E-U-R. And when I say it could be the last sound of a word, or it could be the word in itself, because is H-E-U-R-E, hour. Hour in French is And is also a shock, but in that case, it's written H-E-U-R-T or T-S, because we don't pronounce it earth or earth. We pronounce it So I know that French might be a bit complex, but please engage in my sessions. Let me know what you would like me to speak about. That's my aim, to be of service to you. And very quickly this month, I'm going to talk you about amazingness that I'm presenting to you. I am a bit overwhelmed sometimes. I need to say no more often to things so that I have more time to build these things, because it's challenging. There is so much things in my day. But at the same time, I'm here to serve, to be of service, and to your brain, to reconnect your heart with your brain. So is a sound that is also E-U-R, and that you might see a lot of. For instance, connector. So, like impostor. There are many other examples, but I'm going to close this session right now. Let me know how are you feeling, my friends, and feel free to add any comment in LinkedIn or YouTube, and to tell me also any question. Ask me any question, and also what you would like to receive from me. I think if I don't receive anything, I'm going to expand on the verbs that are also the nouns. But I'm going also to expand on... I was having an idea, but I'm going to expand on the verbs and... Oops, I don't have any more the idea I was thinking about. Probably, again, the questions. Questions are critical. So questions in English, most of the time, is beginning by W. Who, what, where, why, when. And in French, it's Q. Qui, quoi, quand, quand. So I'm going to talk about that. So with that, I'm releasing you from this session. Thank you so much for being brave to this session.